Welcome to Emma's English.
Hey English learners, welcome back to Emma's English Talk, your cozy little place to learn real, everyday English through natural conversations. I am Emma.
And I am Tom. It is so wonderful to be here with you all today. Emma, how has your week been going so far?
Oh, Tom, it has been a really busy but good week, though I had a very specific funny struggle yesterday that made me think of our topic for today.
A specific struggle? Now you have piqued my curiosity. What happened?
Well, it was my coworker's birthday, and I found myself standing in the stationery aisle of the supermarket for about 20 minutes, completely lost.
Let me guess. You were trying to pick out the perfect birthday card, right?
Exactly. It sounds so simple, but choosing a greeting card is actually a massive dilemma for me.
I completely agree with you. It is one of those small, daily life struggles that nobody really talks about, but we all experience.
It really is. You stand there looking at hundreds of cards, trying to find one that is not too serious, but also not too silly.
Yes, and then once you finally buy the card, you have to face the next big challenge, which is writing something meaningful inside it.
The actual writing part is the absolute worst. I always stare at the blank page and feel this sudden wave of pressure.
I know that feeling so well. You want to write something personal, but your mind just goes completely empty.
Exactly. It's like you forget how to write in your own language for a moment.
That is why I think this is the perfect, relatable topic for us to chat about today on the podcast.
I agree. It is something we all have to do, whether it's for birthdays, weddings, retirements, or holidays.
And there are so many funny little details and social rules connected to it.
Plus, it's a fantastic way for our listeners to learn some really natural, everyday English expressions.
Definitely. We use so many specific idioms when we talk about these small, awkward social situations.
So for all of our intermediate and upper intermediate listeners today, this episode is going to be packed with useful language.
I am really looking forward to it. Shall we dive right into the details of this card writing struggle?
Yes, let's do it. I want to hear all about your own experiences with this, Tom.
Oh, I have plenty of stories. Trust me, I am probably the most awkward card writer in the world.
I highly doubt that, but I cannot wait to hear why you think so.
Well, let us start from the very beginning of the process, which is the store aisle.
Yes, the dreaded card selection process. Let's talk about that.
So, Emma, when you were in the store yesterday, what was the biggest problem you faced while looking at the cards?
Well, first of all, the categorization is always a bit confusing. You have cards for family, cards for close friends, cards for acquaintances, and then humorous cards.
Right, and the humorous ones are a dangerous minefield. Sometimes the jokes are just a bit too weird or even slightly offensive.
Yes, you do not want to give your boss a card with a joke about getting old and losing your hair, even if you think it is funny.
Definitely not. That could lead to a very awkward performance review later on.
Exactly. So I usually try to find something simple, maybe with a nice picture of flowers or a simple message on the front.
But then when you open the card, there's already a pre-printed message inside. Do you like those, or do you prefer completely blank cards?
I have a love-hate relationship with pre-printed messages. On one hand, they do the work for you. On the other hand, they can feel so insincere.
Yes, they often sound like they were written by a robot trying to pretend to have human emotions.
That is so true. They say things like, "May your journey through the garden of life be filled with endless sunshine."
Wow, that is incredibly dramatic for a casual acquaintance.
Exactly. It is just too much. But when I buy a blank card, I have to write the message myself, and that is when I always draw a blank.
Wait, you draw a blank? What does that mean exactly?
To draw a blank means to be completely unable to remember something or to think of what to write or say. It's like your mind becomes a blank sheet of paper.
That is a perfect expression for this. So when you open the card to write, your mind just goes empty and you draw a blank.
Yes, precisely. I stare at the white space, pen in hand, and I cannot think of a single original sentence.
I do the exact same thing. And because my mind is empty, I usually end up writing a complete cliché.
A cliché? I know that word, but can you explain what a cliché is for our listeners?
Sure, a cliché is a phrase or an idea that has been used so many times that it's no longer interesting or original. It feels a bit boring and cheap.
Ah, yes. Like writing, hope your day is as special as you are. Or, another year older, another year wiser.
Exactly. Those are classic clichés. They're safe, but they don't really mean anything because everyone writes them.
But sometimes when you're in a hurry, you just have to write whatever comes to mind, even if it is a cliché.
True, I often try to write something off the cuff, but it rarely ends up looking good.
Oh, off the cuff is another great phrase. What does it mean to write or say something off the cuff?
It means to do it spontaneously, without any preparation or planning. Like you just pick up the pen and write whatever pops into your head at that exact second.
I see. So writing off the cuff is the opposite of carefully planning your message on a piece of scrap paper first.
Exactly. And let me tell you, writing off the cuff on a nice, expensive card is a very risky strategy.
Why is that? Did you have a bad experience with it?
Oh, absolutely. Once I was writing a wedding card for a friend, and I decided to write it off the cuff right before entering the church.
Oh no, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. What did you write?
I wanted to write, I wish you both a lifetime of happiness, but my brain mixed up my words and I ended up writing, I wish you a lifetime of sandwiches.
A lifetime of sandwiches? Tom, that is hilarious. How did that even happen?
I think I was hungry and I was thinking about the reception food. I did not realize my mistake until my friend laughed about it weeks later.
Well, at least it was memorable. A lifetime of sandwiches actually sounds like a wonderful wish to me.
Yes, they loved it, but it taught me that writing off the cuff is not always the best idea for formal events.
That's a valuable lesson. I actually always write my message on a sticky note first, just to make sure I don't make any spelling mistakes or write anything strange.
That's incredibly organized of you, Emma. I should really start doing that.
It saves a lot of stress, but it does take more time, which is why I end up spending an hour on a single card.
An hour? That's a lot of dedication for a birthday card.
It really is, but I just feel so much pressure to get it right. I don't want to sound cold, but I also don't want to sound overly emotional.
It's a very delicate balance, especially when the person is a coworker and not a close friend.
Yes, with close friends, you can write inside jokes or funny memories. But with colleagues, you have to be professional yet friendly.
It's like a corporate tightrope walk. You want to say happy birthday, have a great day, but then you feel like you should add something else?
Yes, so you add, thanks for all your hard work, and suddenly it sounds like a performance review.
Exactly. It becomes so formal and strange.
And then there's the signature. How do you sign your name? Do you write, sincerely, best regards, warm wishes, or just from?
Ugh, the signature is another huge dilemma. Sincerely feels like a business letter from the 19th century.
Yes, it's far too formal, and from feels a bit cold, like you're just handing over a package.
I usually go with best or warm wishes. They feel relatively safe and friendly.
I like warm wishes too. It's friendly without being too intimate.
But what about when you have to write a card for someone you don't actually like very much?
Oh, that's the ultimate test of polite society. You have to find a way to be nice without being dishonest.
Yes, you can't write, you're my favorite person if they always steal your lunch from the office fridge.
Definitely not. In those cases, I usually write a very short, standard message and focus on wishing them a good year ahead.
That's a smart way to handle it. Focus on the future, not the present relationship.
Exactly. It keeps things polite and neutral.
Speaking of office cards, there's another situation that always causes me a lot of stress.
What's that?
The group card. You know, when a card is passed around the entire office and everyone has to sign it?
Oh yes, the dreaded giant card where 50 people have to fit their messages.
That situation always puts me on the spot.
It really does, but let's explore that dynamic a bit more because there's so much to discuss there. You mentioned that the office group card always puts you on the spot. What exactly does it mean to put someone on the spot?
It means to force someone to do something or answer a difficult question immediately, without giving them time to prepare or think about it.
Ah, yes. It is like when a colleague suddenly walks up to your desk, hands you a card and a pen, and stands there watching you write.
Exactly. They're just staring at you, waiting for you to finish, while you try to think of something creative to say in 5 seconds.
That is the absolute worst. You feel this intense pressure and your brain just freezes.
Yes, and the worst part is that you have to find a blank space on the card that has not been written on yet.
Oh, yes, you have to write sideways or in a tiny corner or upside down.
And you're trying to read what other people wrote so you do not copy them.
Yes, if 5 people have already written, "Happy birthday, have a great day," you cannot write the exact same thing right next to them.
But because you're put on the spot, you can't think of anything else, so you end up writing something awkward.
Like, "Happy birthday, hope the cake is good."
Yes, or even worse, you accidentally write your message over someone else's signature because the card is so messy.
I have done that before. It is so embarrassing. I had to draw a little arrow to show where my name actually belonged.
It's like a chaotic puzzle. I always get cold feet when I see that card coming toward my desk.
You get cold feet? Can you explain what it means to get cold feet in this context?
Sure, to get cold feet means to suddenly feel nervous or hesitant about doing something, and you almost want to avoid doing it.
Ah, I see. So you see the card coming, you feel anxious, and you want to run away or pretend to be in a meeting.
Exactly. I suddenly decide that I need to go get a glass of water or go to the restroom, just to avoid signing it.
That is hilarious, Tom. You are literally running away from a greeting card.
I really am. It's just too much social pressure for a Tuesday morning.
But you know, there is another side to this dilemma. What about when you're the person who has to buy the card and collect the signatures?
Oh, that is a whole different level of responsibility. You have to become the card manager.
Yes, you have to secretly pass it around the office, making sure the person whose birthday it is does not see it.
And you have to chase people down to get them to sign it before the deadline.
And then you have to collect the money if people are contributing to a gift. That is even more awkward.
Oh, definitely. Asking people for money is always uncomfortable. You feel like a tax collector.
Yes. Hey, do you have $5 for Jessica's card? And they look at you like you're robbing them.
It is a thankless job. That is why I always try to avoid being the card manager.
I do too. But sometimes you get chosen and you cannot say no.
It is a true test of leadership skills, honestly.
It really is. But let's go back to the messages themselves. Why do you think we find it so hard to write these cards?
I think it's because we want to appear genuine, but writing is permanent. Once you write it, you cannot erase it.
That is a very good point. It's not like a text message where you can edit it or send a quick follow-up.
Exactly. If you make a mistake on a physical card, it's there forever. You either have to cross it out, which looks messy, or buy a whole new card.
Yes, I have actually thrown away cards and bought new ones because I made a small mistake. It feels like such a waste, but my perfectionism wins.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Emma. It's all about perfectionism.
Wait, you hit the nail on the head? That is a very common idiom. What does it mean?
It means to describe a situation or a problem exactly and accurately. You found the exact reason why we struggle so much.
Ah, thank you. Yes, perfectionism is definitely the main cause. We want our written words to be perfect.
We want to sound clever, funny, and warm all in 2 sentences.
Yes, which is an almost impossible standard to meet.
It really is, especially when we don't know the person very well.
I think we should all try to lower our expectations a bit and realize that people just appreciate the gesture.
That is very true. Most people don't analyze the message. They just see that you took the time to sign it.
Exactly. They look at it for 5 seconds, say thank you, and then put it on their desk or mantelpiece for a week.
And then after a week, what happens to the card?
Ah, the next great dilemma. Throwing away greeting cards.
Oh, that is a massive guilt trip. Can you really just throw a card in the trash?
It feels so wrong, but you can't keep every card you have ever received. Your house would be full of paper.
I know. I have a box in my closet filled with cards from 10 years ago. I don't know what to do with them.
I think keeping cards from family is fine, but casual cards from coworkers can probably go in the recycling bin after a few days.
Yes, but you have to do it secretly. You can't let them see you putting their card in the bin.
Of course not. That would be social suicide. You have to wait until they're not looking or take it home and recycle it there.
The lengths we go to just to maintain polite relationships are truly incredible.
It really is a fascinating part of human behavior.
You know, Emma, thinking about our struggles with these greeting cards reminded me of some great natural phrases we use today that can help our listeners express themselves better.
That is a wonderful point, Tom. We use some really common idioms that native speakers use all the time when they talk about feeling stuck or pressured.
Yes. For example, you mentioned that when you open a blank card, you always draw a blank.
Right. I love that phrase because it is so visual. It is much more natural than just saying, I cannot think of anything.
Definitely. If you are in an English class and the teacher asks you a question and your mind goes empty, you can say, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Exactly. It shows that you know the answer is there, but you just cannot access it at that moment.
And then we talked about writing cliches.
Yes, using cliches is something we all do when we are tired or in a hurry. It is a great word to use when you want to describe something that lacks originality.
Right. You can say, that movie was good, but the ending was a bit of a cliche.
Yes, it is a very useful noun. And we also talked about writing things off the cuff.
Yes, off the cuff is perfect for describing spontaneous actions.
For instance, if you have to give a speech at a party without preparing, you can say, I did not prepare anything, so I'm just going to speak off the cuff.
Exactly. It sounds very natural and professional.
And then we had the phrase, put someone on the spot.
That is such a common one in workplace English. If your boss asks you a difficult question in front of everyone, they are putting you on the spot.
Yes, and you can say, please do not put me on the spot like that. It's a polite way to ask for more time to think.
And what about getting cold feet?
That is classic. People often use it for big life decisions like weddings, but we also use it for smaller things when we get nervous.
Yes, like, I was going to try bungee jumping, but I got cold feet at the last minute.
Exactly. It's all about that sudden feeling of fear or hesitation. And finally, we had hit the nail on the head.
Yes, when someone says exactly the right thing, you can tell them, you hit the nail on the head.
It's a great way to agree with someone strongly during a discussion. I think practicing these phrases will really help our listeners sound more fluent and natural when they speak English.
I agree. They are much better than just using basic words all the time.
It's all about adding that extra color to your vocabulary.
Absolutely. Speaking of improving our English and finding new ways to practice, I think this is a perfect time to share something special with our listeners.
Speaking of remembering new words, did you know we have a PDF script available for this entire episode?
Oh yes, the PDF script is such a fantastic tool for anyone who wants to study our conversations more deeply.
It really is. You can read along while you listen, which is amazing for improving your listening comprehension.
And you can use it for shadowing practice, which means repeating what we say to improve your pronunciation and rhythm.
Exactly. It makes the learning experience so much more active and effective.
If you want to download it, we have placed the link in the description box below, and we also pinned it in the comments section.
Yes, and while you are down there, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button.
Your support really helps us to keep creating these free lessons for English learners all over the world.
It truly does. We love seeing our community grow every single week.
So make sure to join us and never miss an episode.
Now, before we say goodbye today, let us do a quick review of those 6 key expressions we use.
All right. And speaking of reviewing, before we say goodbye today, let us do a quick review of our target words. Emma, would you like to start?
Sure. Our first phrase today was draw a blank. Remember, this means to be unable to remember something or think of what to write or say.
For example, when the teacher asked me the definition of the word, I drew a blank.
Perfect. And our second word was cliché, which is an overused phrase or idea that lacks originality.
Like when people say there are plenty of fish in the sea, it is such a cliché.
Exactly. The third expression was off the cuff, which means doing something spontaneously, without preparation.
For example, he gave a wonderful presentation completely off the cuff.
Yes. Our fourth phrase was put someone on the spot, meaning to force someone to make a difficult decision or answer a question immediately.
Like, I did not want to put her on the spot, so I asked her privately.
Very nice. The fifth phrase was get cold feet, which means to become nervous or hesitant about doing something you plan to do.
For example, he was going to sign the contract, but he got cold feet at the last second.
And finally, our sixth phrase was hit the nail on the head, which means to describe a situation or problem exactly and accurately.
Like, when you said we need more practice, you really hit the nail on the head.
That was a fantastic review, Tom. I think these phrases are so useful for everyday conversations.
They really are. And now we want to hear from our wonderful listeners.
Yes. What about you guys? Do you struggle with writing greeting cards like we do? Or do you find it easy?
And what is your go-to message when you have to write a card off the cuff?
Let us know your thoughts and stories in the comments below. We really want to read your answers and chat with you there.
Thank you so much for spending your time studying with us today.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we will see you in the next episode of Emma's English Talk.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful week.